Hello, my friends. How are you today? As always, I'm really happy to be here with you, even if it is just on this screen. I like to imagine your smiling faces and your sweet voices, and it brings me a lot of joy. So, today we're going to talk about another one of Jesus's miracles that he performed. So, what you'll need is your Miracles of Jesus booklet. And then for the art project that we'll do, you'll need the items that I sent home in your February tote. So the paper looks like this, and attached to it is one of these, sort of like a big popsicle stick. Now, I was supposed to send you 2 of them, and I accidentally only sent 1. So I'm sorry. If you need another one because you don't have one at home, just have your mom or dad email me and I will make sure I get you another one. Sorry. You'll also need a pair of scissors and some colored pencils and probably a fine point marker if you have one, or maybe a pen. You could probably get away with the colored pencils if you don't have one. That's okay too. All right, so I think those are the things that we're going to need to do the activity. But first, I want to read you the story. So I'm going to ask you to open your book to page 5. Page 5. And at the top, it says, you gotta have faith. This is from the book of Mark, chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. The healing of a paralytic. Paralytic is probably a word you haven't heard. Maybe a little bit longer or different than what you're used to hearing. Paralytic just means a person who's paralyzed, meaning that they can't walk. So the healing of a paralytic is about Jesus healing someone who's paralyzed. So let's read the story together, and then we'll talk a little bit and we'll do a craft. Imagine yourself living in Jesus's time. It's a long time ago, over 2,000 years ago. And Jesus is visiting your city. So like, what if Jesus came to Middlebury? That would be cool. You've heard about how he heals the sick, and you have a friend who can't walk. You're sure that Jesus can heal him. So you and 3 friends help your paralyzed buddy onto a mat and carry him to Jesus. And it was a bit of a walk, and it was really hot, by the way. But when you arrive at the house where Jesus is, your heart sinks. The crowd is huge. How will you ever get your friend anywhere near Jesus? Then you get a crazy idea. You work together to lift your friend to the roof of the house. I do not recommend that you do this, by the way. Stay off the roof. It's dangerous. You cut a hole in the roof and lower your friend through it with ropes. See, you can see the picture here. So they cut a hole in the roof. They're on the top. They're holding their friend and the mat up with ropes, and they're dropping him down into the house. That is a super crazy idea. They're very determined to see Jesus. There's Jesus below. He looks at your friend and then peers up at you and smiles. Jesus says, "Child, your sins are forgiven." Now the crowd starts to grumble. Something about how only God can forgive sins. Jesus knows what they are thinking, and he says, "But that you may know that the Son of Man has authority to forgive sins on earth. I say to you, rise, pick up your mat, and go home." Rise, pick up your mat, and go home. That's what he's saying to the paralyzed guy. Your friend stands up, picks up his mat, and walks. You and your friends jump for joy. What a sight. But Jesus has seen something else. Your faith and the faith of your friends. You didn't let anything stop you from finding Jesus and placing your friend and his needs before him. Your faith in Jesus helped your friend. Now that's amazing. Jesus, please make my faith in you strong. That's a very interesting story about the miracle of Jesus healing a paralytic. And it's really about us having faith in Jesus and bringing our needs to Jesus and finding Jesus to help us. So remember that if you're having some difficult times or things aren't going your way or you need help or your friends need help or your parents need help or your grandparents or your cat or your dog or your neighbor, anybody, go to Jesus and ask for help. Okay? All right, let's make this craft. So first you're going to need your paper. And we're going to color in these two different characters. I will tell you that the character with the arm sticking out like this is our buddy Jesus, okay? Because he's talking to somebody. So go ahead and pick a color that you want to color his robe and the outfit underneath it, and don't worry about this part. We're going to make a face on one of these, so the face isn't really part of this. And then this person here with the arm straight down, that's the paralytic. That's the paralyzed guy. And so you can choose some different colors for that. And this is the mat that he's laying on that his friends brought him to the house on. Again, pick a color, many colors, whatever you want to do to go ahead and color it. If you want to pause the video right now to go ahead and color those in, go ahead and do that. I already colored mine ahead of time because I told you I don't think you want to spend most of your time watching me color. So I colored my mat in. It's kind of like a goldish color, okay? And I colored Jesus's outfit purple. And I did purple because purple is the color that represents royalty, right? And he is our king. That's what some people call him. So that's Jesus for me. And then the paralytic, I made him blue and green. So again, go ahead and pause if you want and do your coloring and then come back. And I'll wait for you. Are you done coloring? Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to get your scissors and you want to cut all of these out. I will tell you that it was a little challenging to get around some of the hand parts. So if you need help from somebody in your house, make sure you go ahead and ask them for that. And then I'll also say that on the paralytic one, after you go ahead and cut the outline for him, you know, you do all this, and you go around the outside like that. like that. I also want to make sure that on this arm here, which would be his right arm, I want you to also cut right up this part right here, right up to his armpit, so that his arm moves. Just the one. There's a reason for that, and you'll see that when we finish. So basically what we're going to end up making are sort of these stick puppets so that you can use them to retell the story that we just read together about Jesus healing the paralytic. So maybe you could make the puppets and you could go tell either your mom or dad or brother or sister or somebody, you could tell them the story in your own words. Okay? All right, so after you've cut everybody out, then what we're going to do is we're going to take the paralytic and Jesus, and we're going to fold them they're in half like this, right? So you're going to fold them like that because these lines right here, we need to cut those, not all the way through because then you'll just end up cutting it off, but just where the lines are, we cut through like that so that there's a hole at the top and there's a hole at the bottom because inside right here where the hole is, that's where the craft stick is going to go. Okay? So now what I want you to do is I want you to, I'll make sure mine are big enough. I want you to take your craft stick and you're going to go behind, right? And you're going to pop through that first hole and then that other one. And so then you see how there's a place for a face and there's a place for some feet. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do those. Okay? So this is the paralytic, right? He's going to get two different faces. So I'm going to get my little marker. Okay? Got my marker. You can use a pen or a colored marker, whatever you want. And I'm going to give him some eyes right here. Like that. So he's got some eyes. Well, that one eye looks angry. Let me see if I can fix it. And then I'm going to give him a nose. And right now he's paralyzed. And he's feeling kind of sad because of that. So I'm going to give him a sad face. And then down here, he needs some feet, right? So I'm going to draw a line straight down so that separates like he has two legs, right? And then I'm going to give him some kind of like some toes with these lines. Like that. And then I'm going to give him some sandals. So I'm just going to do a line across, another line across, and then I'm going to do these little lines down, like that. It's hard to do this, like, with, you know what I mean. So, and then I'm going to make two more lines across like this, like that. And I know right now it doesn't really look like much, but I'm going to get a marker, okay, and I'm going to color in the lines. Let me do that right now. And then I think it'll look a lot better to you and you'll know what I mean. So there, so now they look like sandals with the straps, okay? And I'm gonna give this guy some hair too. So I'm gonna color some hair in up here. And again, you can do any color hair you want, any type of hairstyle you want. It's all up to you. So now my guy has some hair, some feet, some sandals, and a sad face. But what we need to give this guy is a happy face, because when he gets healed and he can walk, he's obviously super happy. So what I want you to do is I want you to take this out and flip it over. And then guess what? You have a whole nother side, and you can do exactly what you just did, except make him happy. So I'm going to give him 2 eyes, a nose, and a big smile. I'm going to give him the same haircut he had on the other side so it looks the same. All right, so now he's got his hair. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make those sandals again. So I'm going to do 1 straight line down. And then I'm going to do 3 tiny little slashes for the toes on each side. And then I'm going to do a line across and a line across, so it looks like that. And then I'm going to do a tiny little line perpendicular to it, like that. Those are the strap, part of the straps of the sandals. And then I'll do another line straight across. Ooh, that doesn't look very straight. And another line straight across like that. Kind of look like a big I, right? The letter I on each side. And then I'll take my marker, my colored pencil, and I'll color them in so that they look more like sandals. And there's my guy who's happy now, right? Now you're going to do the exact same thing for your Jesus character. You'll get another stick and you're going to draw a face for him. I gave my Jesus a beard. That's up to you. So I gave Jesus a happy face. I gave him some hair and a beard, and I drew him the same type of sandals and feet as the other guy. So go ahead and pause if you need to pause while you're getting all your people together and getting them in the right configuration. And then what you do when you've come back and you've got everything ready, you put your people together. So start with your guy being sad, right? And don't forget, he needs his arm to flap open. There's a reason. All right, and then you've got Jesus. And so you have like these 2 puppets. And like I said, you can tell the story of how Jesus helped heal him. And do you remember what he said? He said, and it's on your mat. If you look at your mat, right? So let's put the mat behind this guy because he's laying down on it, right? He can't walk. He's not standing yet, so he's laying down. Go ahead and put him down if you want. I'm going to put mine down. You can't see him. And then Jesus says to him, and it's on the mat. You can read along. I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home. So he gets up, and he takes his mat, and I'm going to fold mine into 3 little spaces like that. And I'm going to tuck it under his arm. So he says, but now that he can walk, we're going to make him happy, right? So make your guy happy, tuck his mat under his arm, and Jesus tells him, I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home. Yeah, isn't that awesome? Yay! So you can use these to tell that story to other people in your house. Or maybe if you do Zoom calls with your grandparents or your aunts and uncles or your friends or whatever it is. So as always, I want to thank you for making some time in your busy schedules to visit with me and hear this really amazing story about one of the miracles that Jesus performed. And I will close with, I love you and I miss you. Until we meet again, be well.